everyone and welcome to Stimulus Academy. So in this video we are going to talk about the steps of urine formation, that what are the different steps and what are the different components of the nephron that are included in the process of urine formation. How does the urine get concentrated, how the blood that is filtered get like the urine that is formed. Okay, so we are going to start with the topic now, the topic urine formation. Okay, so basically there are three steps in formation of urine. The first is glomerular filtration. As the name says, there will be filtration of the blood through the glomerulus. Then we have reabsorption, in which the blood that is filtered, the filtrate is like some of the substances will be reabsorbed from it. And then we have secretion, that is some of the substances will be secreted by the tubules into this filtrate, and this will lead to the formation of urine. Okay, so we'll start with the topic glomerular filtration. Okay, so the first is that how like what is the amount of blood that is filtered. Okay, so in total 1100 to 1200 ml of blood, that which constitutes 1/5 of the total blood that is pumped by each ventricle in a minute, is filtered. Okay, now for anything to be filtered, like blood is flowing in the efferent arteriole and it has to be filtered by the glomerulus, so of course there must be a driving force. So the driving force here is the glomerular capillary blood pressure. That is a blood pressure inside the glomerular capillary that will push the blood into the malphizian corpuscle, like into the whole this glomerulus. Okay, so the glomerular capillary blood pressure will cause the filtration of the blood, and during filtration the blood will have to cross the membranes. Okay, so the first layer that it will cross is the endothelium of glomerular blood vessels. So the endothelium of the vessel in which that blood is flowing. The second layer will be the epithelium of the Bowman's capsule. That is, it will come into the Bowman's, it will cross the Bowman's capsule. So the epithelial lining of this Bowman's capsule, it will cross it. And the third is the basement membrane between these two layers. So these two layers of course will have their respective basement membranes, so it has to cross that layer as well. Okay, so this is about the glomerular filtration. Now we have talked about a layer which is the epithelium of the this Bowman's capsule. Okay, so now the epithelial cells of these Bowman capsules, they are specialized, and these are known as podocytes. Okay, so what is special about these podocytes is that they have, like, the arrangement of these podocytes is very special. Between two podocytes there are pores. These are known as slit pores or filtration slits, through which blood is filtered and the filtrate will cross this layer. Okay, so this was special about the epithelial cells of the Bowman's capsule. Okay, now all the constituents of the plasma except the proteins pass into the lumen. Okay, now you must be wondering that what are the different constituents of the blood that are filtered and what remain. Okay, so in the filtrate we can find that there are no no RBCs or WBCs present. Okay, also all the proteins are also filtered out. Okay, so in the plasma, so we can say that in the filtrate we have everything except proteins. Okay, so plasma minus proteins give such a filtrate. Okay, and because this is like a very specialized type of filtration, it is known as ultra filtration. Okay, now what is the amount of filtrate per minute? Okay, so the amount of filtrate that is produced is known as glomerular filtration rate, and it is 125 ml per minute or 180 liters per day. So you might be wondering that if 180 liters of filtrate is formed, but like the quantity of urine is very less as compared to that, so of course the other two steps, that is reabsorption and secretion, will contribute a major part in decreasing this volume. Okay, so now before we move on to reabsorption and secretion, we will discuss about the regulation of GFR, that is regulation of glomerular filtration rate. Okay, so to regulate this rate, regulating this rate is very important because it will determine the volume of fluid in our body. Okay, so like the amount of blood in the body and the amount of urine formed. So regulation of this GFR is very important. So what is the mechanism of regulation? We have the juxtaglomerular apparatus, JGA, which regulates this GFR. Okay, now what is this juxtaglomerular apparatus made of? Okay, Now this juxtaglomerular apparatus is made up of specialized cells. Okay, so the cells of DCT and efferent arteriole. So we know that distal convoluted arteriole and the efferent arteriole, they come in contact with each other, and the cells present at the junction of these two will be modified to form the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, now what happens is that when there is a fall in GFR, when there is a decrease in the filtration rate, these this JG apparatus, that is the JG cells, will get activated and they will increase the GFR. Okay, so how do they increase the GFR? These JG cells, they will release renin. Okay, so renin is a hormone which will be released by JG cells, and what this renin will does is that it will stimulate glomerular filtration rate and it will bring the GFR back to normal. Okay, so this is about the regulation of GFR. Now there are some other points related to this only. The first is that the volume of filtrate which is formed per day. We have already seen that according to the GFR, we can say that the amount of filtrate that is formed is 180 liters per day. Okay, and the amount of urine release is 1.5 liters. Okay, so comparing these two, we know that maximum part of it, that is 99% of the filtrate, is reabsorbed back into the renal tubule, which is the function of reabsorption. We'll be studying that in reabsorption. Okay, so reabsorption, this reabsorption will occur through different segments. We have PCT, we have loop of Henle, and we have DCT. So reabsorption will occur in all of these three parts, and this will lead to a decrease in volume from 180 liters to 1.5 liters. Okay, now this reabsorption can either be active and passive. So both mechanisms work together. That is, there are some of the components that are reabsorbed actively, and some of the components that are reabsorbed passively. Okay, so the components that are reabsorbed actively include glucose, amino acids, and sodium. Okay, so glucose, amino acids, and sodium are reabsorbed actively, and nitrogenous wastes are reabsorbed passively. Okay, because nitrogenous wastes are absorbed by passive transport. Also, the water in the initial segments, like in the initial segments, that is the proximal convoluted tubule, is reabsorbed passively. Okay, so this was all about reabsorption. Now we have discussed ultrafiltration, we have discussed reabsorption. Now we'll move on to the next step, which is secretion. Okay, so secretion is also done by these tubular cells. Okay, so secretion means that if this is the filtrate which is flowing inside the tubules, the cells of the tubules will pour substances from them into the filtrate. Okay, so this step will be known as secretion. They'll be secreting substances into the tubular lumen. Okay, so secretion will occur in tubular cells. Okay, so the secretion can be seen of hydrogen ions are secreted into the lumen, potassium and ammonia, they are secreted into the filtrate. Okay, now what is the function of this secretion? Why is secretion occurring? We know that here all of these three are ions. Okay, so these ions will be released, will be poured into the filtrate so as to maintain an ionic balance. So the maintenance of ionic and acid base balance of the body fluid will occur with the help of this secretion. So this is why secretion occurs, to maintain ionic and acid base balance of the body fluids. Okay, so this was all about the mechanism of urine formation, the three steps, that is ultrafiltration, reabsorption and secretion. Now this is the diagram. Here we can see that ultrafiltration will occur in this Bowman's capsule. The secretion and reabsorption will occur in these parts, that is the PCT, the loop of Henle, and then the DCT. Okay, so that was all about the process of urine formation. I hope that you understand the topic, and thank you.